the truth about people who never chase anyone. Imagine watching someone walk away from a potential connection while recognizing that the rest of us would give anything else up to keep it. Not because of a lack of interest, but because of a deepened knowledge of oneself, which defies the desires of others and silently brings attention questions of how they can walk away without a chase. Have you ever placed yourself into the perpetual game of trying to get someone's attention by texting into the wee hours of the night, searching conversations hours later, long after the end of the encounter, wondering about those people in life who walk away because they understand deeply a mental position of calm, while the rest of us are consumed by the energy of need? This occurs not as a lack of feeling, but as a deep attunement to one's own inner world, where the urge to chase, based on anxious attachment dynamics, simply doesn't present itself as an option. Attached to the theory of attachment, as pioneered by John Bowlby and Mary Ainsworth, comes the idea of a secure, avoidant, dismissive attachment style, where individuals tend to possess this non-chasing quality and exhibit a sense of being detached when they are simply comfortable with being alone themselves. Take, for instance, a professional in his or her early 30s named Alex. This person was brought up by his or her parentage in such a way that independence was encouraged, hence no hovering or smothering. Currently, when a potentially good date puts distance between them, Alex can feel his own interest but reaches for his inbox rather than flooding it himself, because he has maintained his own balance in life that must see intimacy in return rather than having it forced on him. Thus, it's not a rejection of intimacy, but a behavioristic adaptation to maintain the safety of emotions, and based on cognitive theories such as self-verification theory as a means through which people seek relationship interactions, consistent with their enduring self-conception. However, as one moves further into this group, they tend to possess a higher score on self-esteem tests than on neuroticism, in being one of the higher tiers in the 5-factor model of personality. People with higher self-esteem, as shown in research, do no need constant validation when they go chasing, because they do not define themselves on the reception they get, while they function in a position that is shielded from the dopamine rush that captures those under them in self-view in regard to relationships. Consider Sarah, a writer, and her slowly developing relations, its chemistry at a coffee shop, but she waits for joint efforts. Her low neuroticism helping her resist anxiety, unlike her friends who get caught in a whirlpool of analysis. And research shows that lower levels of this trait lead to higher relationship satisfaction. Yet, this is where the complexity of this strength lies. Their high levels of conscientiousness and agreeableness mean they are far from aloof, but rather selective in their investment, where reciprocation grows steadily without the cognitive dissonance of pursuit, feeling like it is a necessity in order to love. But another level comes forth through identity theories, such as self-determination theory. Those who are non-chasers have an internal motivation for autonomy rather than fusion. They form attachments that improve rather than define who they are, based on childhood patterns resolved to avoid imprinting abandonment fears. Take Marcus, who after a difficult breakup at age 20, actually identified his pattern with relationship as a result of his father's absence. Through therapy, he began to celebrate his avoidant traits as his protector rather than his liability. He now dates with intent and draws others at his own rhythm simply through his own quiet confidence conveyed by his refusal to chase. In these, behavioral tendencies follow emotional intelligence patterns, where they interpret early signs of imbalance, withdrawing energy not as a form of punishment, but as an act of respecting boundaries, and where a lack of extroversion sometimes increases these tendencies toward introspection, transforming potential isolations into deep self-awareness that pulls others in organically. In each of these Maslowian categories, attachment, security, personality, stability, or autonomous identity, one finds the opposition to a love-based mindset of scarcity. Instead, there is an abundance grounded in the principle of self-reliance. Even in friendships, this is a softly landing trait because it helps sustain a connection without being clingy, with an air of presence that feels like it has been deserved a sparkling source of empathy in actions rather than words, because of a solid foundation of self-compassion against which any feelings of resentment are offend. In the end, it's crucial to note that the reflection we get from those who do not chase leads us to reflect on our own patterns, and it's in the release of the chase that we find relationships that meet us halfway in moments of stillness rather than inactivity. If this has been your experience, take a look at your last pursuit and what might open if you stood still instead. Please share your personal experiences in the comments below. Let's spark up a conversation in the comments, and consider subscribing for more insights into the quiet forces shaping our minds and relationships. Thanks for your time, and until next time, keep elevating your mind.